Finance pros, welcome out to our first official Mindset Pro calls. This is hosted by your CEO and visionary, Josh Phelps. Guys, I'm so excited about what we're doing in our community. I think we are truly on the very brink of an absolute revolution, the very forefront of what is going to absolutely shift and change in our society. And what I want to see in our community more than anything is beyond the number of success stories rising, I want to see lives being impacted, people truly being able to grow in such a way that you have always dreamed of. And what we're going to do on this first call is we're going to lay the foundation. If you're here with me live on the call right now, I want you to write in the chat box the foundation. What is so key in any situation in life, whether it's business, whether it's personal, you name it, any area of your life, what is one of the most important things you could ever do, dare I say essential, is setting the foundation right? Right? The Bible talks about what happens when a foundation is set strong compared to when it is set on a shaky environment, right? And with that being said, I want us to truly jump into this Mindset Pro call today, ready to grow, ready to learn, committed to change, committed to being all that we were created to be. And with that being said, today, I want to do something very powerful, and that's give you a more solid foundation when it comes to your mind. If you're taking notes, I want you to write these down today, but I want you to start off with this. When it comes to the mind, it's very important to understand that your mind will either be your greatest weapon or it can be your greatest enemy. There are people all around the planet right now that are struggling very deeply when it comes to their mind. We see depression on the rise. We see anxiety on the rise. We see people struggling with mental health in numbers and counts that we have never seen prior in history before when it comes to the statistics of what's taken place and the amount of struggling. Put a yes in the chat box if you have noticed that. What we aim to do here at Finance Pro, what we are going to do here at Finance Pro is we are going to elevate our community. It is a blessing to be involved in this Finance Pro community because not only do you have the ability to come in and build the opportunity of a lifetime, but you get to come in and reset what you know in your life when it comes to your mind, when it comes to your money, and ultimately the way that you move in your life moving forward. I believe stepping foot or being in our community, you're positioning yourself in a more powerful way. So it's time to jump into these 5 principles. What I want you to do on the call today is I want you to take just a moment to take a deep breath. Whatever you have going on around you right now, I want you to just silence it as much as you can. I want everybody on the call, wherever you are, I want you to just take a deep breath. It doesn't have to be exaggerated. If you're in public right now, not everybody needs to know, but I just want you to take a deep breath. A count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Just a deep breath. Beautiful. Now that you are in a state of being a little bit more relaxed, I want you to pay very close attention the next 10 to 15 minutes as I walk you through the mindset of a pro, how to be a winner, how to have 5 unbreakable principles. And if you will apply all 5 of these in your life in a very strong way, I promise you, you're going to see a difference in your life and it is going to continue to grow in a more beautiful, in a more powerful way. The first one that I want to be very clear, and if you've been around me for a long time, you know how important this is to me. The first thing when it comes to setting your foundation for your mind is understand that you were made by the divine and you lack nothing. Put a 1 in the chat box if you understand this. You were created by the most powerful divine source in this planet. And what is so important to understand is when you were created, you weren't just created with a piece of that source, you were created with the fullness of that source. How can you lack something if what has created and what sustains all things has built you, created you, and said that you are a masterpiece? It's so important to understand that you are not starting from lack. You're starting from abundance. Even if your situation right now does not look abundant, I need you to understand you are just going through the journey. But I need you to realize, even on a bigger level, even though your reality doesn't look like the truth yet, It's so important that you do not bend what you believe is true to reality, but rather you believe what is true, therefore reality has to bend and shape to it. You were designed by greatness for greatness. There is no shortage in you. There is only power that must be activated. What we're going to do with principle number one is we're going to reactivate that reality in our mind right now. So right now, I want you to imagine hitting an activation button when it comes to power in your mind and rediscovering, resetting your understanding that I was not born for some random purpose. I was born packed full of the divine source made for greatness. I need you to believe this right now. Rumi said something that was very powerful. Who's heard that, you're just a random drop of the ocean, right? You were just created, you're just one of the fish in the sea, right? Some people, when they think of their reality, this is how they envision it. But I need you to see it on this level. Rumi said something very beautiful. He said, "You are not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop." And my friends, that is your reality. The maker of heaven and this world, the thing that created all, sustains all, and ultimately is the one that has breathed into us and continues to give us breath. That is what you are packed full of. It's so important that you understand right now you lack absolutely nothing. The second point that is so important to set a strong foundation when it comes to having a winning mindset, a pro mindset, is pros show up powerfully, even when they don't feel like it. It's so often in life that we do what we feel like doing, but the greatest rewards in life actually come from doing the things maybe we don't want to do, right? Like if you think about your health, maybe sometimes we would much rather eat the junk food than the healthy food, or when it comes to working out, or just any component of your life in that capacity. So often we choose what feels good in the moment, but we don't keep then in mind the ultimate goal. So, what I want you to understand is regardless of what you have going on in your life right now, regardless of what's happening, I need you to understand that it is time to get disciplined and show up in a powerful way, right? Winners don't rely on emotion, they rely on commitment. If you only move when it feels good, you're not a pro, you are a hobbyist. You are someone that just commits sometimes when it's fun and you put it on the shelf when it's not convenient to what you want. But the problem is, living in that way will keep you from everything that you want. One thing that Les Brown said that really stood out to me, he said, if you do what's hard in life, your life will be easy. But if you do what's easy, your life will be hard. What I'm saying right now is that we're not to just live a life that feels good in every moment. Sometimes we have to understand sacrifice and commitment will lead us to where we're looking to go in life. One thing Mike Tyson also said, discipline is doing what you hate to do, but doing it like you love it. And that's something that I can really relate to. I have really made a recent commitment to get back in the gym, start working out hard again. And, as being a successful CEO, loving what I'm doing from a standpoint of impacting, ministering people, doing what I'm doing in the financial industry, one thing that I have laid off of over the past couple years is really staying in the gym and having a super fit body the way that I did my entire teens and 20s. And going into my 30s, it's amazing how just pulling off the gas there, how I felt it impact me in other areas. So, in this very sense, I want you to understand I'm preaching to myself here because there's times that I get up in the morning where I'm exhausted. I stayed up till 3 or 4 in the morning. My daughter wakes up at 7:30 and now it's time to get up, right? So at this point, I could mosey around for the morning or I could jump in the cold plunge or I can go in the gym and I can start working out, which ultimately, even if I don't feel like it, it's better for me and it will lead me to being in a better place in my life. Just put a 1 in the chat box if you have that same experience in some area of your life. And what's so important that we do in these times is we show up powerfully. Even if it doesn't feel great in the moment, we still show up on purpose. because we understand that purpose is one of the most important components of our life, and being powerful is what we were created to be, and it's what we must do every day in our life. So, first step and foundation and principle on this call today is you are made by the divine, you lack nothing. The second one is pros show up powerfully. Even when they don't feel like it, they still show up and they still make it happen. Now I want to move into foundation point number 3 today. Winners think long term. They play the infinite game. So often in business, in life, people will come in, they will get excited, and then at that point, they will pull back on their excitement and emotion, because excitement is not something that always lasts. Purpose does. This is why it's very important when you're laying this foundation out, you understand this, right? The real win isn't just in what you get today. It's not just in today's commission. It's becoming the kind of person who can win for a lifetime, that takes vision, patience, and relentless consistency. Guys, I need you to hear me right now. What's so important when it comes to business is understand that we are in a position as human beings that we are creators, right? One thing that we see in nature very clearly is when it comes to planting a seed, the greatest things in your life, the greatest plants, the tallest trees, you name it, they don't always grow overnight. We're living in a society today that is a microwavable society. They want what's fast. They don't care if it's healthy. They want what's now. And unfortunately, what we see right now is people are not satisfied with the results that they have. But the bigger issue with not just being satisfied in this moment is the daily actions that are being taken are preventing us from going to the next level in our life. The very behaviors that we have every day is now beginning to affect where we want to go with the long-term outcome. Bill Gates said this, and I'm not always a big fan of Bill Gates, I will say that, but I do appreciate this quote. Most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10. When it comes to Finance Pro, we are here to build long-term legacy. The crazy part is we actually have the opportunity right now with the way that we have built out this hybrid compensation model across multiple powerful industries in some of the biggest essential areas of people's lives. We actually have the ability to hit successful numbers and powerful incomes in a much quicker way than normal. But what I want you to also take into consideration is it has taken this long in your life before you've actually gotten to a point that this is the moment for you. See, when it comes to being patient but staying purposeful, when it comes to staying powerful even when it's not easy, I need you to understand that all of those things are shaping you and leading you to where you are today. And this is where I truly need you to zone in right now. Everything that you have been through, whether it's someone betraying you, whether it's you've not got that promotion you've been looking for and you've been asking God, why is this not happening? Maybe you've been struggling with your bills and you can barely afford to pay and take care of what you need to take care of. Maybe you're a single mom right now and you're struggling, you can't find your time. Guys, whatever it is, one thing that we're going to do at Finance Pro is we're going to be real. And we're going to really face the things that people are facing, because too many times in our society today, you got to water down things. You can't just say what needs to be said. And I'm going to tell you right now, I just don't have that in my blood to just say something to be saying something. What's so important right now is we truly have an awakening in our life. And if you look at some of the greatest awakenings that have happened over history, it came in the most difficult times. It came in seasons where people didn't see hope. They saw difficulty. They saw just struggle. And I'm telling you right now, we are on the brink of an awakening. In your personal life right now, everything that you have been going through has shaped you for this moment. So what you need to do in this moment is understand and commit to the long term, right? It's better to be going in the right direction slower than to be going fastly in the wrong direction. So now I need you to understand you've gotten in the right place. You positioned yourself in a new way, a more powerful way, a more purposeful way, and now you have the ability to truly shift and change everything in your life. While there is an opportunity in Finance Pro to build a substantial income very quickly, I want to be very clear about this. Finance Pro isn't about fast money. It's about forever wealth. I want you to think like a builder that's building out a subdivision. Even when the first house gets built, that's only a piece of the story. That's only a part of the journey. It's a milestone when you hit your first $1,000 a month with us, when you hit your first 2,000 a month, 5,000, 10,000. It's a milestone. But I need you to understand, it's not the ending, it is just the beginning. Okay? So what is point number 3? Winners think long term. You're here to be a pro. You're not here to be an amateur. You're here to have a long time career and success, not a short time one just that happened quickly. Okay? Point number 4. Pros take full ownership. No blame, only power. So often in our lives, I see this every day on a very personal level, all the way up to business, sports, you name it. Any situation, all of these points are extremely relative to. But so often, people blame people for their problems in their life. You know, even with the business situation and Finance Pro, I could blame people that have been involved. Maybe they dropped the ball, didn't handle things in the best way. But what I know is that doesn't solve anything. Put a yes in the chat box if you would believe that it's time to mature. And rather than blaming people, we begin to take responsibility. Because, see, when you blame someone, you give them power over your life. You remove your power from yourself. They're not taking your power. You are giving your power away because you're saying they have more control of your life than you do. And I'm telling you right now, the most dangerous mindset in the world is it's not my fault. Do you want to be a pro or do you want to be an amateur in life? A pro doesn't ask who's to blame. What is the pro's response in any situation? What can I do about it? In every situation in your life, you're either going to be someone that gives your power away or you're going to take your power up and you're going to live in the way that you were created to live. And I'm telling you right now, some of us have gotten really comfortable living in a very unpowered way where we just said, you know what? Even if we're not conscious of it, that just, man, my life sucks because everyone around me, they told me I couldn't do it, so I can't do it. They said I would never have it, so I guess I'm never going to have it. My boss said I was terrible at my job, so you know what? I must suck at everything, right? So often, it's every day outside of business. I'm not usually a good salesperson. Here's a point that is so important within this. You got to take control of your mind back. Anybody that still sees you for what you used to be, anybody that still associates you with what you did 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and isn't willing to give you the opportunity to grow like every one of us needs to grow and has grown over the years, I need you to understand their lack of where you are today does not equate to who you actually are today. It's okay if they don't see you for who you actually are because they're still seeing you through the vision of what you used to be or the reality of it is let's talk about projection. A lot of people will push their insecurity, their lack of vision onto you. They're not successful, so they don't want you to be successful. Regardless of the situation, whether you're giving your power away or people are trying to take it away from you, I need you to take these words of Winston Churchill very deeply in your heart right now, that responsibility is the price of greatness. I'm going to read that again. Responsibility is the price of greatness. If you want to be great in your life, you have to take responsibility. I've never seen a successful entrepreneur, people that have been at the very top and who are still at the top, none of their stories were, well, I made it easy It's been easy. It's going to continue to be easy. And you know what? I'm glad I didn't have to do anything to get this successful. I think so often we imagine success stories being like that. Like, I think many of us actually believe that other people don't struggle too. One thing that I can tell you, talking to the most successful people, being in the slums around the world, doing ministry, feeding the poor of the poor, eating with the rich of the rich, I can tell you right now, everyone still struggles with their mind. Everyone still has real human issues. And in business, I'm going to tell you right now, everybody goes through the fire. I wrote a book about 3 to 4 months ago called Through the Fire. And I was talking about discovering and finding God even in the most painful and most difficult situations in life. Because, in the same sense, this really reminds me of this, talking about this point right here, is that I really believe it's easy to live in such a way where you're happy when it's good, right? When the bank account is rolling, when you're on vacation, you're spending the money, or whatever it is that you love to do, right? What is it that you love to do? It's easy when all of those things are going well. But as soon as, use the language, shit hits the fan, at that point, it's like everybody doesn't know what to do anymore. And the most powerful people in life are the people that can stay consistent through the pain, that can see the beauty in the ashes. When they see a desert, when they see dry bones like Ezekiel, no, I see an army. I see an opportunity. And that's what I see in the world today. See, a lot of people are saying, the greatest recession that's ever come is on the way. That's very potentially possible. But just because the greatest recession is on the way doesn't mean that we all have to drown in it. Who's hearing me right now? I really hope you're getting something out of this, because this is me sharing my heart. I am literally walking outside, looking at the water, pouring out my heart to you, sharing with you what has absolutely shifted and changed my life entirely. When I stopped giving my power away and took responsibility, everything changed. All right? When it comes to business, every missed call, every closed deal, every lesson, it's yours. You need to own success. You need to own your life and treat it like a CEO. There is no victims in this room. On this call right now, there is no victims. I don't care what your mom and dad said about you. I don't care what your friends said about you. I don't care what your neighbors said about you, what the people on social media said about you that doesn't really know you. They just want to have their talk about somebody. I'm here to let you know that I don't care about that. Same thing when it comes to me. There's some people that love me. There's some people that somehow they can come up with something crazy to talk about me. And I'm going to tell you, regardless, I don't care. I'm not moving based off what they say. I'm not moving based off of what they do. I'm moving based off of what God told me to do. I'm moving based off of what God said to me. And at that point, I don't care what somebody else says, because I'm going to believe the truth. I'm going to follow the truth, because if I know the truth and follow the truth, the reality is the truth will set us free. So, principle one, you are made by the divine, you lack nothing. Principle two, pros show up powerfully, especially when they don't feel like it. Step three, winners always think about the long-term game. They're not just in it for the short success, the fast money. They understand the reality of creating wealth. Planting seeds, that doesn't happen overnight, so you better start treating your life in the same way and learn to nurture the seeds and water them correctly. Point number four, pros take ownership. We don't blame, we take our power and we live powerfully. Principle number five, winners obsess over who they're becoming, not just what they're getting. Now, this is a big one. A lot of people have come to a place in their life where they've seen other people living successful, whether that's social media, whether that's in a movie, whether that's real life. And I'm going to tell you something right now. What's so important to understand, just because you get to where the vision was, that's not the most important part. Too many people idolize the outcome, but have failed to realize it's actually what happens during the journey that's the most important. I remember, and I'll tell you guys a personal story. I remember at 12 years old, I've always been obsessed with Ferraris. I absolutely love fast cars. right? Coming from very, very humble beginnings, the idea that I would ever drive a Ferrari or own a Ferrari was something that was just absolutely out of touch for my circumstances. But for my vision and my dreams, I thought it was very possible. From the time I was 12, I had this toy car, a collector's kind of car, in a little box in the plastic. And I always looked at that and I said, one day I'm going to drive it. That's going to be mine. I remember telling my friends in school, I was 13, 14, 15, 16. I'm going to have a Ferrari one day. They're like, dude, you're crazy. You can't have a Ferrari. Only rich people have a Ferrari. And I was like, so what are you saying? I can't be rich? Listen to this story. Before it's in your driveway, it's first got to be found in your head. But I want you to understand, at 27 years old, I had a Ferrari delivered to my house, zero debt attached to it when it was delivered, paid in full. And what's crazy, as excited as I was about that, and I was like, oh my gosh, like not only did I just get my dream car, but I don't have any debt. I didn't do it at a time where I shouldn't have done it, right? Where it would have put me in any type of financial situation. I was able to take care of it in full. But even in that moment, what was crazy to me is when I got in the front seat, funny story, and I'll include it here. I didn't even know how to start the thing, right? I didn't test drive it. I literally saw it, I fell in love with it, and I ordered it, and it was delivered to my house about a week later. When it got dropped off, I went and got in the car, and I was like, oh my God, this is my car. But I didn't even know how to start the thing. So I waved at the guy in the truck. I was like, hey, guy, can you help me? He's like, what, you don't know how to start it? I was like, how'd you know? And he's like, you won't believe how many people that I show up to with these, and they have no idea how to turn it on. And it was funny for me because once I took off driving in that moment, I was excited. But I'll tell you, it wasn't the Ferrari that made me proud in that moment. It was who I became in the process. And I'll tell you, my journey has been one that I continue to evolve, and I follow my seasons in a very powerful way. Last summer, I sold my Ferrari and I went and took the money and I invested it into Finance Pro and what we're doing here today, right? I got to a place in my life where I said, I'm traveling so much right now. I'm barely driving the thing. I had it for 3.5 years. I absolutely loved it. It truly was an absolute dream. But I got to a point that I wasn't driving it. And for me, I felt that calling back to the mission field. And it's not just something where if you go into the mission field, where you're doing this, you can't have nice stuff. Please do not believe I'm saying that for a second, because that's not true. But where I was in my life at the time, I'm a very extreme person. Therefore, when I'm really pushing into a vision, I really take it extremely serious, which is why the results come the way that they do. But I'm telling you right now, and it's so important to hear me on this when it comes to obsessing on who you're becoming, not just what you get. Who you become is something that will last forever and continue to grow you. What you get, it will come and go. Put a 1 in the chat box if you understand that. The goal is to become the type of person who naturally produces greatness, not just chases it. So many people are just chasing, but they don't understand the better you become, the better hunter you become in life, right? It's like someone that's never been skilled when it comes to hunting. I grew up in the South, okay? Fishing, hunting, I grew up doing that. And I'll tell you something. Just because you throw the line in the water doesn't mean you're going to catch a fish, right? The longer you fish, the more that you learn the times a day, the areas, you become more effective. It's the same exact principle in this situation right now, that no matter what you have done, as successful as it could be, or the lack thereof, who you are becoming in the process is the most important. And I'm telling you right now, some of the greatest people in the world, some of the people that we idolize, that we look up to, if only you knew their real story, it was not picture perfect. My friends, I'm telling you, there is greatness inside of you in such a way that if only your mind could truly begin to conceive what you have within you, that everything in your life would shift. Tony Robbins said something that is special. He said, don't set goals to achieve them. Set goals to become the person who can. I don't want you to be just obsessed with what the outcome is going to be. My friends in Finance Pro, the outcome is going to be absolutely beautiful. whether that's 10K a month, 100K a month, $1 million a month. Whatever freedom looks like to you, that's what we're going after here. It's not just about the money. The money is a byproduct of becoming the person that attracts money, becoming the person that serves people, becoming the greatest version and reality of yourself that you were created to be. It's time for an upgrade. And what I really need you to understand right now is you were made for this. Built by design, backed by heaven. You are armed with everything you need already in this moment. So the question is, will you take up your power and will you truly step into who you're truly called and made to be? So going into this day, going into this week, going into the rest of this month, I don't want you to walk into this like, oh, we can win. Oh, we're hoping to win. Oh, it may happen. No, I need you to walk into this week. I need you to walk into this month, and I need you to walk this out the rest of your life, understanding that you were born to win. You were born for success. You were born for abundance. This is absolutely beautiful. I need you to hear me. If you lay out these principles in your life, if you will truly show up in your life where you understand I was born to win and there's not a dead gum thing you can do to stop me. I may fall on my face, you may hit me with the right hook, and it may put me on the canvas, but what I promise you is I'm getting back up. You know why I do not lose? Because you cannot beat me. And the beautiful thing is, I don't even have to live a life of vengeance. I don't even have to live a life where I have ill intention towards anyone. I hope everybody wins. I hope everyone has an amazing and beautiful life. This is the beautiful thing. In the kingdom, there is no lack. Therefore, I don't have to wish harm upon someone so I can receive. No, the world is big enough, God is big enough that all can receive. So I need you to understand this. I'm going to show up and I'm going to win, and you ain't going to do nothing to stop me. Every effort you attempt to stop, you're only getting in the way of God's plan. God's plan is bigger than any man. Write that down. And that includes the woman's, okay? God's plan is bigger. What the enemy meant for harm, God's going to turn into good. That's why you can't stop me. There are people praying that I don't go out here and do what's going to happen and what is happening right now. And my friends, my brothers, my sisters, I'm telling you right now, you can't do nothing to stop it. God wrote the story and we're just living it out. We are co-creators with the kingdom of heaven. We were born by the divine. We were made for abundance, and it makes no sense to live any other way. Why would you settle for less if you were made by the best for the best? Think about that for just a second. So how are we showing up? As winners. I'm not a loser. You could lose 10 years in your life, but because you kept getting back up on the 11th year, you surpassed everybody that knocked you down. This is what I need you to understand. When I was talking throughout this call, I truly just see visions of so many of you right now being in a place where you're looking out at a field. I see this vision right now so clearly, where you're looking out at a field. You've planted seeds all these years, and I see this vision right now. Wow, this is huge. I see this vision right now of God opening up the floodgates and you going out there and you closed your eyes. And when you opened your eyes, growth was there, right there. I'm telling you right now, what that's saying to me and what I feel like that is there is a perspective shift happening right now. There is an actual, wow, I feel this so strong. There is an actual upgrade that's happening in your ability to see, even before it happens, the reality of the growth. Come on now. I need you to see this. I see a very clear picture of you right now standing in a field, what you have planted all the years, while other people looked at you like they looked at Noah when he was building the ark and said, "What are you doing? You're crazy. You're building this thing, but it's not even going to rain." No, I'm telling you, my friends, it's not just going to rain, it's going to flood. And when it comes to success, this is going to bring the birth. This is going to bring the momentum. This is going to bring the impact that's been needed to spark the fire, to set things ablaze in your life, and to take it to a level that you only dreamed of. And this is one of the last things that we need to make sure that we always understand, which is why with these 5 principles that I've shared with you today, it's so important that you set the standard high. Why? What does God tell us he does? Anything we can think, dream, or imagine, he will give us more. Put more in the chat box. If God is committed to doing more than anything we could ever dream, why would we set the bar low? One thing that I know about my God is that he lacks absolutely nothing. This world lacks absolutely nothing but the awareness of the truth. And once you become aware of the truth, once you begin to walk in the truth, you'll begin to experience the results of the truth. All right? So we're not going to make our mind shift to our circumstance. We're going to make our circumstance shift to the truth of what we know is true. I'm telling you right now, the start of an awakening is here. This may be a company, which it is. Finance Pro is a birthing place of dreams. It is an absolute home to create success. But what it is going to be more than anything is a reigniter of life in people's hearts, a reigniter of dreams in people's minds. The things that we once believed that we put on the shelf, God is saying right now that it's time to pull it back off the shelf and understand that we are in the right place at the right time. And right now, we are in planting season, but very soon we're going to be in harvest season. I literally see it turning on like a switch. So for all of you here, we're going to go through these 5 points one more time, and then we're going to wrap up our first Mindset Pro call. And my God, I hope you got something out of this today. Principle number 1, you were made by the divine. You lack nothing. Principle number 2, pros show up powerfully, especially when they don't feel like it, especially when things are going on in life where it's not easy. That's when you show up in the strongest way. Number 3, winners always think long term. They're playing the infinite game, not just the right now game. Number 4, pros take full ownership. We're not blaming, we're taking back our power. And number 5, winners obsess over who they're becoming in the process, in the journey, not just what they're getting out of it. With that being said, Finance Pros, right now is the best time for a true awakening in your soul, in your mind, and in your heart. And I'm telling you, as you awaken, as you step in to now being aligned with what you were created to do, it's like going from being against the river flow to now turning and flowing where the river goes. So many of us have been fighting life, but what we don't understand is we've just been positioned wrong. When you're living opposite of the way that you were created to live, opposition is extremely intense because you're going against the design flow of your life. Can you imagine standing in the middle of a river as it's coming down and you're trying to walk up it and you're wondering why it's so difficult? And all you have to do is lay back, turn the other way, and now the river will carry you everywhere you want to go. This is what's happening in our life. There's a shift happening right now. There is a shift happening right now. And when it comes to your mind, you must take control. You must be a pro. And there's no other way to go. Okay? It's time to take control right now. It's time to upgrade our circle. It's time to upgrade our actions. Where we are going, and this will be my final close today. Where we are going requires us to be more. What you have ahead of you, what you have now stepped into is so big that it requires you to become and be even more. Does that mean that you're lacking? No. That means you're now taking on and stepping into your power and realizing that you already had it. You just had to be more disciplined. The truth is always going to be the truth. The vision is always available. The question is, will you believe it? Will you walk it out? And then at that point, then you will see it. Okay? So let's rock and roll, Finance Pros. Today is a day of growth. Today is a day of going from being a mindset amateur or just a struggling mindset to a mindset pro. Okay? If you guys enjoyed this today, if you're excited about your future more than you were before you got on this call, I want you to put a yes in the chat box. And with that being said, guys, I'm going to wrap this call up today. Everyone have an absolute blessed day. This is the very start of a revolution in your life, and you're going to another level. What is ahead of you is so big that it requires you to grow right now in order to truly see it and experience it in the way that you were meant to be. Say this in the chat box right now. I was born to win. I'm gonna win. And there's nothing anyone, including myself, can do to stop it because I'm committed to what it takes. Responsibility is the cost of greatness. So let's take responsibility. Let's take action. And let's be pros. You guys have a blessed day. We'll see you on the other calls coming up here very soon. And let's make it happen, finance pros. You be blessed. I'll see you all very soon now.